I am Dr. Said Ammar Naqshawani, and this message is brought to you by the Muhsin and Fawzia Ja'far Foundation.
Does Islam teach Muslims to hate the Jewish community? Do Muslims hate Jews? You won't find cousins who at some stage have been in more warfare and have as much tension between them as the Muslim and Jewish community. These cousins, one may argue, on the one hand all revere Abraham, Isaac and Ishmael, but for some reason in the world today still cannot get along with one another. And this needs to change, because there are so many more similarities than there are differences between Islam and Judaism. And if we are to engage in dialogue, then dialogue is not us trying to score points over one another or trying to show who has a greater history or who has teachings which are deeper in terms of their rational and textual contexts, but rather there is a need for us to come together and understand the different pathways and the different discussions that emerge in our history. Yes, there are elements of the Muslim community that may teach their children to hate the members of the Jewish community. There are elements of the Jewish community that cannot stand members of the Muslim community. But what's the way forward and what's the origin? There are moments in our past where a member of the Jewish community is praised because of their trustworthiness. Because when a person is asking the question that does Islam teach us to hate the Jewish community, in the Quran you find, for example, in chapter 3 verse 75, a mention of the fact that a member of the Jewish community, you may give him something to look after as a form of trust, and they'll look after it in some cases better than your fellow Muslim member of the community. And how many of us have seen this? You may have, for example, somebody who works for you from the Jewish community, or who you've employed, or you have asked to undertake a task, and you found more trustworthiness than being scanned by a fellow member of the Muslim community. Likewise in the Quran continuously talks about the people of the book. If Islam taught to hate Judaism, then why is there always a mention about finding common goals with the people of the book? The common goals that include, on the first level, monotheism. There are no religions, one may argue, which have a closer understanding of monotheism and of the Lord than Islam and Judaism. On the second level, the prophets of God. How much reverence is there for the prophets of God in Judaism? And those same prophets are revered within the religion of Islam. How much the Jewish religion teaches about the importance of the prophets, likewise how much Islam teaches about the importance of the prophets. We mentioned Abraham. Judaism reveres Abraham, but likewise Islam. Judaism reveres, for example, the likes of Ishmael and Isaac and Joseph, and so does Islam. And there is a need for us to sit together and look at the reverence between one another. On the third level, we also find that there are certain concepts which are of the utmost importance within Islamic teachings and within Jewish teachings. An example, you have, for example, zakat, or you have sadaqah. If you're looking at zakat and you're looking at sadaqah, you'll find that within Judaism and within the religion of Islam, there is this emphasis: be charitable, give away from yourself. You only achieve righteousness when you give away that which you love the most. The emphasis on prayer, whether it's salat or avodah, the discussions of the importance of prayer in the life of the human being. Again, look where we can come together. And again, look at the emphasis of how Islam teaches to respect people of other faiths. I remember the story of the son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his family, namely Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali is walking one day with a Jewish member of the Islamic Empire. Ali at the time is the caliph of the empire. The Jewish man doesn't know who he is. They're walking together. And then the Jewish man asks Ali. He says to him, "Where are you heading?" Ali gives him the reply. The Jewish man narrates that he says, "We continued walking. We continued walking. And then I realized that he's now still walking alongside me, even though he was meant to take a different path. So I said to him, 'Oh man, why are you still walking alongside me when your path is that direction?' And the reply from Ali was that the right of your traveling companion is that you cannot walk away from them until they give you permission. And you hadn't given me permission." At that moment, the man said, "Go ahead. You're more than welcome to leave." When Ali had left, the man's friend came. He recognized him. And he recognized Ali clearly. He knew that that was the caliph. So he said to the friend of his from the Jewish community, "Did you know who that man was?" He goes, "No, pleasant man. Walked with me the whole way. Wouldn't leave until I gave him permission." He goes, "That is Ali, caliph of the Muslims." At that moment, the Jewish man looked and realized that Muslims and Jews can get along with each other. When the caliph is so exemplary, Why can everyone else not follow that same example? Andalusia, Spain, we found Muslims and Jews living with one another in peace. There may be certain political conflicts that arise in the world today that make some Muslims attack members of the Jewish community. And not all members of the Jewish community necessarily subscribe to all the different ideologies that can be seen in the extreme. In the same way, not all Muslim in the world today subscribe to ISIS. Therefore, there is a need for us to remove ignorance, to stop making false witness, and to try and come together as brethren of one another, cousins from Ishmael and Isaac. Thank you for listening to this weekly broadcast. We invite your feedback to continue this dialogue.